Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. It's awesome to see this room full of people. I know that we were all probably hoping for Coach Cook or Rebecca Alec, but unfortunately they're out of town, so we're stuck with me tonight. Coming into my freshman year here at UNL in the fall of 2020, I had a lot of ideas for myself as to what would constitute a successful college experience. For me, that was become the best golfer I could be, win championships with my team, and experience the social experiences that the world had told me would make me happy. So for my freshman year, that's exactly what I did. I tasted all that the world had to offer. During this time, I still would go to Mass on Sundays, but a lot of the time this was solely for the purpose of calling my mom, telling her, hey, I made it to Mass, and she'd still think I'm a good kid. So throughout my freshman year, I didn't really have a connection with my faith. Then my sophomore year, I was lucky enough to be connected with a missionary who I believe is here tonight, Max Chapman, wherever you're at, Max. And Max really did his best against my will, tried to invest in me, and at the time I was not very receptive. He invited me into some Bible studies, and I attended once I heard that they'd be co-ed and there'd be some girls there. I was like, all right, we'll go check out what's going on. So I went to some Bible studies and learned some cool things that maybe I hadn't known before. Some typology, but I didn't necessarily see how I could personally have a personal relationship with Jesus. So this continued on, and I hit my junior year and I turned 21, and we all kind of know how that goes. The next year was filled with plenty of drinking. Me and my buddies, we'd go, let's go drink at the bar, or after a Bible study, let's go play poker and drink, or heck, we'd walk down the street on Sunday afternoon and, oh, there's football going on today. Let's go sit on the couch and have some beers, watch football. I think we've all been there at some point, maybe. I hope not. So throughout my junior year, again, kind of the same spot. And I'd had this inkling from others trying to push me close to the Newman Center. But I had a pretty strong feeling in my heart that potentially I was cooler than people at the Newman Center, and that the people who hung out at the Newman Center didn't have friends and they needed a place to find community. Thank you for the laugh, I appreciate it. That was good. So going into my senior year, I really, Max Chapman had left. He started his own organization. Him and his family moved on. And Matt Master, who many of you probably know, became my missionary. During this time, Matt invested in me very heavily, and I'm very lucky and happy that he did. He invited me into discipleship, which, for those of you that don't know, is a way for missionaries to get closer with students and lead us closer to Jesus. When he invited me in, I had no idea why I was being invited to discipleship. I had shown no interest in doing anything at the Newman Center besides going to Sunday Mass most weeks. But throughout this semester, he encouraged us to do a 40-day prayer challenge in front of the Blessed Sacrament. And for 40 days, I'd go in he said, go do 10 to 15 minutes. That's all you have to do. And so I said, okay, I'll do it. And every day for 40 days, I did 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not going to lie. I sat there and I thought 10 to 15 minutes was an eternity. I didn't know how people could sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament for an hour. I didn't know how to pray. But he taught me over time. And then going into the winter, he invited me on a mission trip to Mexico City and kind of a pilgrimage to Our Lady of Guadalupe. And while there, my heart was changed. For the first time in my life, I experienced what it was to serve others and not expect something back. Seeing Jesus' face in the poor's eyes. I also saw that my preconceived notions that everyone at the Newman Center is lame and not as cool as me was completely wrong. These people were way cooler than me. And they had something that I wanted that I didn't have. And that was pure joy. They had a joy that they weren't scared to go out and live and not be in fear of what people would think. So that was a big change in my heart. But still at this point, there was no inkling of a relationship with Jesus. But then one night, I was sitting in adoration, and during this mission trip, they had us do an hour every day in front of Blessed Sacrament, a holy hour. So 15 minutes was tough on me, so you can only imagine how hard an hour was. But over the days, I got more comfortable. On the last night, I was praying with Matthew 28. It's his resurrection account. And when Mary Magdalene's coming to the tomb, the angel of the Lord appears to her and says, "He is not here, for he is risen, as he said." When I read those words, "as he said," all of a sudden, in my Bible, all I could see were those 3 words. Everything else blacked out. I got these chills throughout my body. And I started crying, which, I don't know, if you ask my family, I'm not a crier. So this is weird for me. So I knew in that moment that there was something real here. That Jesus Christ is Lord. And that I needed to change the way I was living my life. So yeah, it was a super impactful moment, and praise God. He's awesome. Can I get an applause for God? And since that mission trip, coming back to the Newman Center, I've just been very fortunate to have the community that we have, and just everything that the Newman Center offers. Whether it's access to the sacraments every day with multiple Mass times, adoration at most hours of the day, priests who one are like pretty cool just to hang out with in general, and are always there to help in your spiritual life and lead you closer to Jesus. So I just hope you see through my story that the Newman Center is changing lives, and Jesus Christ is changing lives. Some people might think that our faith in some way is dead or is not real, but he's active and he's living, and he's changing lives. And it's not just mine that he's doing this to. There are hundreds of kids on campus right now who have had the same experience that I've had, but I was just lucky enough to get to share tonight. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you to the Newman Center and Jesus for everything he's done in my life. Thank you.